Title: ZUKAI 50SAI KARANO ATAMA GA YOKUNARU, TAIKENTEKI, BENKYOUFOU. Author: Tetsuji Takashima. Translator: Shuanru Liao. Insights on reading that can bring benefits even without prior experience. The more you remember, the better your memory will become. There are 24,000 streets in London. Further verification research has shown that, after serving as a London taxi driver for 30 years, the number of brain nerve cells increased by 20%. The more you use your brain power, the more the brain nerve cells will increase. This can enhance the brain's information processing capability, naturally strengthening your memory, and also improving your problem-solving creativity. Even as you age, your brain power does not have to deteriorate. In this era, what smart people need is not information processing ability, but information integration ability. Information processing ability is like a jigsaw puzzle game, deciding on the composition and assembling it piece by piece. Information integration ability is like Lego building blocks, the ability to assemble basic units into three-dimensional shapes and create various forms. Those who continue to learn even as they age will always have doors of opportunity open for them. When facing complex problems, continuously observe and evaluate whether your corresponding knowledge is adequate and whether your proposed solutions are easy to implement. The ability to transcend individual cognition and analyze from a holistic perspective is called the capability of holistic cognition. The magic of reading that brings happiness is to let the mind wander freely. The breaking heart always feels like you're the only one who will fail. The accelerating heart, facing the bright side. People who like to depict the future often receive warm and positive reviews. Positive reviews will give you strength, as if someone is supporting you from behind, giving you the courage to keep moving forward. Such people have a heart bound with an accelerator. Good emotions lead to a good memory. Whether the head is good or not, whether the books are read well or not, the mood is the key. Utilize the principle of happiness. Say thank you more often. Thank you. No problem. The doors of life will open for you. At this age, you still have the opportunity to study. How wonderful it is. Thank you for this chance and this time to develop your own abilities. Finally experiencing the feeling of being qualified. Thank you. No matter what, I will definitely be fine. The more you are affirmed, the more your abilities will increase. The more experiences of being praised a person has, the more confidence they will have to continue and not give up. If there is no one else to praise you, then affirm yourself. A positive self-image will form in your heart. Positive thinking, optimistic thinking, cheerful thinking. Things you should say. Thank you. Thanks to you. No problem. Congratulations. Great job. No worries. You will definitely win. I believe in you. Things will turn out well. The weather is so nice. I'm in a good mood. Negative thinking, pessimistic thinking, cynical thinking. Things you shouldn't say. My brain is really poor. I'm too old, useless. I feel uneasy. I'm so unlucky. I'm the one who brings bad luck. It's useless to say anything. It's raining again, how annoying. I'm in a bad mood. Innate abilities are genius level. Environmental assistance is talented level. Self-effort is capable level. Let your heart be on the accelerator. Embrace a positive mindset with an affirmative self-image. Studying with a positive attitude, you will definitely become a quick-witted person. Develop your brain capacities. As long as you know that highly intelligent people only use about 10 to 20% of their brain capacity, and that autistic people and savant syndrome patients can develop other parts of their abilities after losing certain skills, it proves that as long as you keep praising yourself and continue learning, you can keep developing your brain domain. Table of Contents Learning Method. First, look through the table of contents once. Then read through the entire book once. Look through the table of contents again. Carefully read the parts you are interested in. The table of contents is the best way to arouse curiosity and the desire to learn. Bird's eye overall view method. Looking from top to bottom gives you a clear understanding. Grasping the overall picture also helps understand the connections between the parts. Old eye pause method. Like farsightedness, hold the book a bit further away so that you can only see one paragraph after another, like a series of islands. These would be the problem island, the example island, the conclusion island. In this way, the overall structure of the article becomes easily understandable. Takashima's 3-round reading method. Fast running learning method. Read through it once at top speed, without stopping despite any doubts. Cow ruminating learning method. Divide it into different paragraphs. Read each paragraph, then immediately return to the previous one for review. Thoroughly read through each section. Memorization learning method. If it's your own book, you can highlight the key points. For other people's books, you can take notes and write your thoughts. Only when you output will you realize what's missing and truly understand the knowledge you've learned. Fully utilize fragmented time to create learning reflection note cards. Constantly train your memory. Want to read fast? Just speed read. Skimming is gently scanning with your eyes, forming a brief memory in your mind, which is enough. Scanning to predict the content and theme. then delving into and exploring the content. The more you expand your knowledge reserves, the more relevant knowledge and understanding you have, the more successful your skimming will be. Challenged paragraph reading method. The range of text that enters your field of vision at the same time gradually increases from 2 lines to 3 lines, 3 lines to 4 lines, increasing the number of lines you can read at once. Set a reading completion time for each book to increase your reading speed. If you feel you didn't fully understand, you can set aside more time for a second read. For content that needs to be remembered, use the triple input method. Look with your eyes. Speak out loud. Listen with your ears. This can double the memory effect. For your own books, highlighting key points should be about 1/10 of the content. It's best to include the subject and statement that are essential for understanding the core meaning. Mark the necessary key sentences. Color code the table of contents to help the right brain remember visually. The right brain's visual imagery function is about 1,000,000 times that of the left brain's language-based knowledge. Use the right brain's color-coded visual imagery to reinforce the left brain's language-based knowledge and achieve more accurate memorization. Utilize the question bank to win or lose. Before starting to prepare for the exam, take a question bank test based on your current abilities. If you get 40% correct, you get 40 points. Then use about 3 months to prepare. The probability of passing the exam will be quite high. If time is not enough, use the Takashima 3-round reading method. After the first round, take the question bank test again. If you can get 40 points, by the end of the preparation period, you can still be slightly above the passing mark. 3 to 5 days before the exam, try the latest question bank. Repeatedly practice with the latest question bank before the exam day to strengthen your own abilities. The target score should be the passing score plus 7 points. Trying to remember the entire scope of the test material is too difficult and will only lead to a sense of frustration and anxiety. For certification exams, just passing the threshold is enough. The knowledge acquired from passing the certification exam is really not enough to handle practical needs. After obtaining the qualification, you must continue to diligently accumulate relevant knowledge. How much buffer score is considered safe? The passing score plus 7 points should be enough. So relax your mindset. Just aim to pass, and you won't feel a sense of frustration and anxiety. For exams with many subjects, use the aerial carousel method. When preparing the next subject, go back to the previous subject for review. Like spinning an aerial carousel, continuously review without interruption. For difficult content, use the segmentation method to remember. For example, defective guarantee liability. First recite defective several times out loud. Then remember it. Next recite guarantee several times to remember the word. Finally, recite liability several times. Then combine the 3 words into one term and recite it several times to strengthen the memory. The entire book can be broken down using the segmentation method. Divided into sections as the unit. The separated parts can be stapled with a stapler. Keeping the cover can also be bound back into the original book form. Studying separately reduces the burden. The value of rote memorization only accounts for 1/10 of memory. A major feature of rote memorization skills is the technique of rigid rote memorization and mechanical rote memorization. Basically, there is no need to understand the meaning of the content. Just repeatedly recite the words to record them in the brain. Memory is understanding its meaning. For example, 8342796459630011. Converted into meaningful words. Climbing the mountain is urgent. Please stay long. It is I who stay long in the mountain. Reluctantly parting. Compared to rote memorization, the method that is tens of times more effective is to return to the understanding of memory. As you get older, you feel that your memory is declining, gradually finding it painful to remember things. Lately, it's been getting worse and worse. There should be quite a few people who sigh like this. However, this way of thinking is completely wrong. The brains of London taxi drivers have already spoken the truth. After the age of 50, the number of nerve cells in the hippocampus, the command tower of memory, can still continue to increase. So what declines with age is not memory, but curiosity and upward-looking spirit. As long as you want to understand, even if you don't force yourself to remember, you can't help but think about it. So that's how it is. The answer will naturally be stored in your brain. This sense of surprise towards things is called the novelty effect in psychology. Please make good use of this novelty effect. Use the substitution method to replace difficult abstract language with concrete imagery. Utilize the substitution method. How can I give an example? Think of examples around you. What if it was made into a story plot? Try to understand it by drawing a picture. Ask someone you know or a relevant organization. How do other reference books explain it? A simple and easy-to-use initial memory method. The knowledge stored in the brain's neural circuits only needs a little clue to trigger a chain reaction. For example, there are 7 types of consumer problems. You can remember it as quality, quantity, price, view, promotion, sell, environment. Quality equals service quality. Quantity equals measurement. Price equals price. View equals appearance and packaging. Promotion equals advertising. Sell equals sales and contracts. Environment equals environment. First, close your eyes. Calm down. Slowly and repeatedly chant the spell. Quality, quantity, price, view, promotion, sell, environment. Repeat it at least 50 times. To count the number, start with the fingers of your right hand. Bending one finger for each repetition. After 10 repetitions, bend one finger on your left hand as a decimal place marker. Chanting with the rhythm of the words can achieve the best effect. The 99 style memory method is absolutely invincible. The 99 represents long, lasting. Repeatedly chanting with your mouth. If you still find it very difficult to remember after 50 times, then increase it to 100 times. As long as you recite it repeatedly this way, you should be able to remember it firmly. The visual-based illustrated memory method that fully activates the right brain. Left-right comparison method. Divide the information into two sides to create a comparison table. Chronological series method. Indicate the time period first, then list the events that occurred. Memory tree method. Main topics as the tree trunk, subtopics as the tree branches, minor points as the tree leaves. Map thinking method. Draw extension lines on the map and mark the locations or events. Personification method. Categorized by human body parts. For example, hair Sadaharu O tying his hair to swing the bat head Masao Koga, Japanese national composer, jumping and conducting on his head forehead Naomi Uemura, world-class adventurer who died while climbing North America's highest peak, climbing up the forehead. The number conversion memory method makes meaningless numbers no longer terrifying. Ichini Tsukuru, 1192, establishment of the Kamakura shogunate. Tsukiyumi, 794, Heian-kyo, capital move to Heian-kyo in 794 by Emperor Kamu. Eiji Asenki, 1937, Marco Polo Bridge incident. Methods to pass even without knowledge. If there are too many questions like the TOEIC test and you don't have time to answer, or if you have to abandon subjects due to lack of preparation time, in the last 3 to 5 minutes of the exam, stop thinking about the abandoned subjects and unfinished questions. Don't look at the questions. Choose one of the answers 2 or 3. For multiple choice ABCD questions, fill in B or C depending on your mood that day. It's normal if the answers are the same for 10 consecutive questions. You don't really need to worry about this problem. What you should be worried about is whether your attitude in answering is too arrogant. Even if you fill in the same letter for 10 consecutive questions, fill it in confidently. How to find the answer from the question. Notice a certain wording. In legal exams, sentences that say in all cases usually have incorrect content. For example, all, but, must, always, all. While ambiguous sentences are the opposite. Depending on the situation, not limited to, should, may, perhaps. Most are not the correct answers. Even in questions asking which is incorrect. These ambiguous answers often become the first to be automatically eliminated. The 3-to-1 rule is the key to magic. Question. Gennaro passed away, leaving behind 90 million in assets. Gennaro's spouse is Haruko. They have a son named Ichiro. However, in addition to Ichiro, Gennaro and Haruko also had a son named Jiro. Jiro passed away before Gennaro. Jiro left behind a child named Natsuko. Furthermore, Gennaro also had an illegitimate child named Saburo. Ichiro's child is named Fuyuko. Ichiro immediately renounced his inheritance right after Gennaro's death. According to the Civil Code's inheritance laws, which of the following statements is correct? The inheritance shares are Haruko 60 million, Saburo 30 million. The inheritance shares are Haruko 45 million, Natsuko 45 million. The inheritance shares are Haruko 45 million, Natsuko 30 million, Saburo 15 million. The inheritance shares are Haruko 45 million, Fuyuko 18 million, Natsuko 18 million, Saburo 9 million. First, notice the 45 million figure. Options 2, 3, and 4 all have this number. Only option 1 is 60 million. Therefore, option 1 is not the correct answer. Next, pay attention to Saburo mentioned in the question. Options 1, 3, and 4 all mention him. But option 2 does not. Therefore, option 2 is not the correct answer. Now find Fuyuko in the question. Fuyuko only appears in option 4. Therefore, option 4 is not the correct answer. After eliminating 1, 2, and 4, only option 3 remains. Therefore, option 3 is the correct answer. Question. Which of the following statements about the Civil Code provisions is incorrect? Landowners cannot install barriers to prevent rainwater from naturally flowing into their property from the neighboring land. Landowners can jointly bear the cost with neighboring landowners to set boundary markers. When the neighbor's trees have branches extending across the boundary line, the landowner can cut them. When the neighbor's tree roots extend across the boundary line, the landowner can cut them. If I answer based on the Shadow Warrior theory, even without any knowledge, I can still achieve an accuracy rate of at least 50%. In terms of appearance, the Shadow Warrior looks exactly the same as the real one. In this problem, the descriptions in options 3 and 4 are essentially similar. The only difference is that option 3 is about tree branches, while option 4 is about tree roots. Therefore, the answer can be narrowed down to tree branches or tree roots. Options 1 and 2 are just vaguely relevant choices. No need to pay attention to them. If it's about tree branches, anyone can see the neighbor's encroachment. So the landowner wouldn't need to ask the neighbor, they can just cut it themselves. Therefore, it should be about tree roots. But since the question is asking about which statement is incorrect, the correct answer should be option 3. If you feel uncertain, choose the later options. If the correct answer was placed in the first option, it was originally meant to make the examinee struggle. But in the end, the examinee doesn't even need to look at the back. They can easily write down the answer. Therefore, if the options are similar in content, the correct answer is usually not placed in the front. It's mostly placed in the back. Starting to read from the back options is also one of the exam-taking secrets. from the nature of the multiple choice answers. Another exam taking technique can also be derived. Some questions involve calculations. In such cases, the answer that cannot be answered without calculation is most likely the correct answer.